Back again, and just in the nick of time, Mr. Stephen Waguespack from the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Hey, Mr. Steve, how are you this morning?
Good morning, guys. How's it going? It's been a while.
Yes, much to our dismay. So I'm reading, Erin had the news story a few days ago about the LABI, your annual ranking, rating, grading of Louisiana legislators and their friendliness toward business and business development. Tell us about that. Tell us, first of all, how do you put this together annually?
Yeah, so this is the 20th year in a row we've done something like this. And for those listeners that may not be familiar with us, LABI, we're basically the State Chamber of Commerce and the State Manufacturing Association. So every year we try to make a priority on what are the bills that come up that can, promote free enterprise, help create jobs and investment in the private sector. And so we push those bills hard, and sometimes that's passing things, and sometimes that's killing things. And so we ask legislators to work with us on it. And so at the end of the session, we go back, we crunch the spreadsheets, and we come out with a factual rating each year. And if you're 100% with us, we call you an MVP. If you're 90% and above, we call you an all-star. And if you're 80% and above, we call you an honorable mention. And we give awards to those legislators that qualify in those categories. And it's the 20th year in a row we've done it. We have a very detailed report that lays it all out, a lot of information. It's on our website, and we hope everyone goes and checks it out at labi.org.
I'm looking at it right now. We've got a couple of, I think, MVPs from our area, right?
Oh, yeah. Look, I'll be honest with you. Bossier is kind of a hotbed of talent for our lineup. If you look every year in, year out. On MVPs, on the Senate side, you got Barrow up there. Barrow Peacock's done a really good job, and also a little bit to your east, Mike Walsworth. Carmody, Dodie Harton, Jack McFarland. There's some folks that have also, done very well from an MVP perspective. We're 100%ers with us. Raymond Cruz and Alan Seaball, they were all-stars. They, once again, did a great job supporting free enterprise. Jim Fannin kind of up in that area as well. So we got a host of folks up there that have done well. And a lot of the names that I just mentioned, those are the ones that year in and year out tend to be very supportive of issues that, promote free enterprise, that, trust the private sector as compared to dumping everything on the public sector. So those guys are consistent. They're bedrock, if you will, and we enjoy working with them each year.
Let me ask you this, Wags. Like we grade our schools, we have the high-performing and we have the low-performing. Do we have some low-performing folks in our area too?
Well, you got some, and I'm sure you're looking at the data right there. But yeah, there's some folks that consistently, show up on the low end. You can go check it out the website and talk to some of those folks, but the names won't surprise you. I'll just say that. And look, we're not trying to embarrass anyone or anything, but we make no apologies for trying to get the truth out there. A lot of times it's very hard for your average business owner to know exactly what's going on in Baton Rouge because they just have to trust, some scrubbed headline that may or may not be telling the truth or the whole side of the story. We put it all out there. Our report is thick. It's got a lot of information on it. We hope folks go read it and question legislators on why they voted one way or another and make them give you a specific answer, not live in the talking point world.
Stephen Waguespack, Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. We had a mayoral candidate in this week who said, we've got to bring in jobs to our community, but it's difficult because Louisiana is one of the states where businesses are taxed the highest. Are we making any headway to fix that? Do you see something coming?
I think, unfortunately, we've got a lot of challenges on business development right now. Tax code is a big one, but it's only one of several, I would tell you. We have an interesting spot. We have so many diverse businesses in our coalition. I kind of hear the range of issues that folks are. It's not a one issue. Taxes are a problem. A lot of times it's very cool for political candidates to say, if we just beat up on corporate welfare or business and everything could be great. Well, the numbers don't show that. The numbers show actually, business gets hit pretty hard right here in Louisiana. And folks that we try to attract here, they know that. And then they start looking at other things like our legal climate, where it's very easy to get, sued and blamed unfairly as compared to other states. They look at the workforce issues we have. Very hard for a lot of our employers to find, the caliber of worker they're looking for. And let's remind ourselves what they're looking for. Someone that can read and write and stay off drugs and have good soft skills. We're not looking for nuclear scientists here, and still it's a challenge to find that in this state. So tax code's a problem, legal climate a problem, workforce a problem. Not to be too negative, but those are issues we got to address seriously and just running to the Capitol every year for a new tax and saying what's mission accomplished ain't going to cut it.
You know, Mr. Stephen, I had seen an article maybe a couple of weeks or so ago, and it was written in the GDP nationally is like 4.1%. You can easily make the case that America's economy right now is booming. Well, one place it ain't booming is here in Louisiana, and this article made the point that as states across the South, and cited Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Georgia, are not only lowering taxes, but are deregulating and making it easier for businesses. We just talked about how Louisiana tends to be not the friendliest tax-wise for business and industry. How about regulation-wise?
Well, we got a long way to go on that. And if you look at our scorecard, we list what bills we score each year, and a couple of those were sensible bills to deregulate industries. One was to deregulate over a host of different licenses. One was to deregulate hair braiding, another one florist. And those are bills that basically most of them got stuck in the process and died because of goofy issues. And so we scored that this year.
Here's something. I'm sorry, finish up.
Well, no, those are real issues. And you mentioned how our economy is doing compared to the rest of the country. I think the good thing is America's economy is doing so well, it's kind of pulling us along by the bootstraps, which, hey, we appreciate the help. But there's some warning signs. Right now, our wage growth is the lowest in the country. Our wages are going up year after year, worse than any other state. And we have almost 60% of our adult population not in the workforce. And that is a huge
Wait, pardon
issue.
me. Repeat that again and say it a little more slowly and emphatically.
We have the lowest wage growth in the country, and we have 60% of our population in the workforce. That means almost 40% of our adults aren't looking for a job, and that's the lowest ratio since 1977. So we have low wage growth. We have a low number of adults looking for jobs. That is a recipe for disaster. We have got to turn that around and start putting people in the workforce, making them get off the couch and get into a job. And hopefully wages will go up there because there are jobs out there. I hear employers all the time saying they're looking for workers. What they can't find is workers who can read and write and stay off drugs and have soft skills. And soft skills is code for work ethic. Can come in, show up every day, and be dependable. We've got to drive that harder.
Stephen, I know you're putting together your legislative package for next spring. What's a top priority? What's 1, 2, 3 on your list?
Well, we're still a little early on that, and we got to see where things are going. I can tell you a couple of things that I know will be there. One, Constitutional Convention. Some folks want to go there. Some folks don't. We are supporters of it, and here's why. We feel like for decades now, Louisiana has tried to kind of duct tape and twine and, chew and gum this thing together. Throw a little tax there, a little mandate here. It hasn't worked. We've got to try something completely different. We're pushing for a reboot, Control-Alt-Delete. Let's go in. Let's streamline that Constitution and take some of the power out of the dark hallways of the Capitol and return it locally to the people. Let local taxpayers have more autonomy and, basically have more local decisions being made. And that way they can work with their local leaders to decide which way they want to go or not. Let's stop depending on the hallways of the Capitol. We think that starts with the Constitutional Convention. So as we look at other issues, it's probably all going to fall underneath the umbrella of a Constitutional Convention movement that we hope starts in 2019.
I think you and I will make excellent delegates, just as an aside.
Amen to that.